Harrison from the Drive here. Let me ask, don't deliver like they used to. Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Want a great way to boost your brand? Custom labels at Staples will help your packages pop, shipments stand out, and takeout boxes really take off. Shop now through April 18th and save 30% on all custom labels. Staples. That was easy.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Send it in, Jerome!
Ready to watch your favorite baseball stars play in the WBC? Get in on the action with BetMGM. Sign into your BetMGM account and enjoy a WBC odds boost token to snag even more winnings on your next bet. It's easy. Just log into the BetMGM Sportsbook app, add any WBC bet to your bet slip, and activate your odds boost token. If you win your bet with your token activated, you'll score extra winnings. 3 quick steps and you could be on your way to extra winnings if your next WBC bet hits. The world's greatest ball players are about to duke it out on a global stage. Don't miss out on the fun. Add some extra excitement to this year's tournament by signing into your BetMGM account and grabbing your WBC odds boost token today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowe's.com/same-day delivery.
Today is Heartland Men's Health Day on 96.5 The Fan. 3 locations: Overland Park, North Kansas City, and Independence. For more information, go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac Maury, and I wanted to let you know that I've started a new social media series called Mac's Minute. Real original, right? It gets released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our station's Instagram and Twitter accounts, plus YouTube Shorts. I'll give you my best take in 60 seconds on the biggest stories in sports and Kansas City. Make sure to follow on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. Watch Mac's Minute every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our social media platforms. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
It is going to be a slow go this afternoon, at least for now. Shawnee, that's a two-car crash, 35 northbound at Antioch. It is the right lane blocked. And then the biggest problem we've got, 635 southbound past Metropolitan Avenue. That's a crash with 3 right lanes blocked. Just ahead of that and on the other side, so a ton of onlooker delay, 635 northbound at 70 westbound. That's debris cleanup. I'm Val with traffic from 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Cordell Woodland. He is with 105.7 The Fan out in Baltimore. We're going to get a little bit more information on one of the Chiefs' newest starters, Alohi Gilman. He plays safety. He was just added yesterday to the Chiefs. Cordell, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic, man. So let's start with this because I do want to get your thoughts on the Max Crosby trade. We'll do that here coming up in a bit. But let's start with Gilman. What kind of player is he?
Yeah, he's a smart player. He understands what he's looking at out there. I think he has a pretty good football IQ. He is a physical guy. He likes to come down and put his nose into the action. Not the best coverage type of guy. The Ravens used him essentially as their third safety, which somewhat helped stabilize their defense, although the defense was still pretty much poor for the most part of the season. But Gilman was a guy that was able to help them in the short to intermediate, was able to kind of come down in the box, help in the run game a little bit. Not the shortest tackler, but he is a guy that's not afraid of contact.
Do you see him as a starter, or do you see him more as that rotational piece? You just alluded to it, a third safety. Do you think he's a guy that can be on the field for 80% of the snaps, or you think he's more of a secondary rotation depth piece?
Yeah, I think, he can be a guy if you're in a pinch, if you need it, if you need him to play the 80% of the snaps and be a bona fide starter. But I think if you're really talking about having a really good defense, then Gilman's role would best be served as that rotational piece that could kind of spell, maybe come in on some of the earlier down situations or even short yardage third down situations. But I wouldn't say that he's a guy that's a plug-and-play safety and you feel good about it.
Right now, we're talking about Alohi Gilman. He is the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. He just was added yesterday via free agency. The Chiefs just picked him up. Why do you think the Ravens let him go? Do you think this was a cost-cutting move? Do they have other options at safety? Why do you think he was available in free agency?
Well, the Ravens have lost a lot of their own so far. They the only people that they've retained to this point, I believe, is Tyler Huntley. I'd have to go back and check, but they haven't done a lot of deals so far. A lot of their players have gone elsewhere, mostly to the Giants of John Harbaugh. But Gilman it always felt like, he was going to play out the year and probably test free agency. Odafe Owe did the exact same thing with the Chargers. He signed a $100 million deal with the Commanders. Those were the two guys that were traded for each other. So I think it was always kind of thought of that this was pretty much a half a year situation to get through the rest of the season. The Ravens needed another safety to kind of play more of the personnel that they wanted to play more of that big nickel. So he fit that, but I don't think that they ever truly thought that Gilman was going to be a part of their long-term plans.
Looking at the contract-wise, he signed for 3 years, $24.7 million. I feel like a lot of these 3-year deals really are just 2-year contracts, and teams just let go of you at the end of it. That feels like that's a new trend in the National Football League. $15 million guaranteed. I don't have an issue with the contract. Do you see an issue with one, given the kind of player that he was for you guys in Baltimore?
No, I mean, he's a pretty good depth safety, and I do think he's a guy that, if you are into that rotational piece and want a guy that can kind of come closer to the line of scrimmage on early downs, I mean, he can serve a role. He is serviceable. I think he had 2 fumble recoveries for the Ravens this year, so he has a solid nose for the ball. I mean, he is a serviceable guy. I just don't think he would be your first option if you're really trying to put together, your best 11 players if you can help it. But if you have to play him, it's not the worst thing in the world. The dude, like I said, he has a high football IQ. He will at least be in the right spot. It's just a matter of will he be able to make the play or not.
How would you rate the move for Kansas City on a letter grade scale?
Well, I know it's been some, I know it's been some shuffling with Kansas City secondary as a whole so far this offseason, with both of the corners end up going to L.A. with the Rams on via trade, one through free agency. I'm not exactly 100% familiar with y'all's safety situation, but
it's bad.
I would say
bleak. Bleak is the answer.
Yeah, I thought as much. I thought as much. I would probably say a C. A C. It's a good depth piece. If you got to start him, it's not the worst thing in the world, but definitely room for upgrade.
What's been the conversation in Baltimore since the trade to go get Max Crosby? I mean, you certainly paid a premium, the 14th overall pick. We'll see what their first-round pick is in 2027. They certainly paid a pretty penny for him. What's the hope? What's the optimism around Max Crosby? Do you like the value they got? Do you like the trade?
Yeah, overall, I like the trade. I like to see the Ravens kind of break tendency and get aggressive. They're a team that likes to build through the draft, so they're usually stingy with those picks, especially when you're talking about it being a 14th overall pick and 2 first-round picks. The Ravens not having a first-round pick for the next 2 drafts is kind of hard to believe. There is an element of surprise that they actually did it, but Max is exactly the type of player that they've been missing. They've been flaming out in the postseason, in large part due to they can't get after the quarterback. I watched them play the Steelers this year twice. Aaron Rodgers sitting back there patting the ball, running for rushing touchdowns. Wouldn't do that against any other defense but the Ravens. So they understood going into this offseason that pass rusher was a premium for them, and they got the best one that was available. I still think they should go out there and get another pass rusher, to be honest with you. But not saying it has to be of the Max Crosby tier, but somebody else that can help him out. But I think it's a great deal for both sides. The Raiders get to prepare for their future, and the Ravens get a guy that can help them get over the hump right now.
That is Cordell Woodland joining us on the show. He is with 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. The Chiefs have a new safety. Alohi Gilman just signed a 3-year, $24 million deal, $15 million guaranteed. He is 28 years old. This past season, he had 90 tackles and an interception. Cordell sees him as more of a safety 3 rotational piece, maybe not a consistent starter in Kansas City. Cordell, great stuff, man. I always appreciate your time. We'll catch up with you down the line.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's that is Cordell Woodland joining us on the show today. Rob, how are you feeling about the move? Cordell didn't sound super excited about Gilman. For example, yesterday when we had on the guest from Boston and was talking about Tonga, spoke very, very highly about Tonga. Hey, he's a guy you could put in the middle of the field, help stop the run. He was very good here in Kansas City. You now put him alongside Karlaftis and Chris Jones. I think it's going to end up being a big success. I didn't really hear Cordell Woodland really singing the praises of Gilman. Just thinks he's a fine player, rotational piece. If he's on the field a lot, then it could be a problem. That's how I heard it.
That's how I heard too. Now, based on what the Chiefs are paying him, it sounds like the Chiefs are assuming he will take a step forward and be more than a rotational player. But the fact that someone who saw him, now he was traded midseason but saw him for a portion of the season in Baltimore on a bad defense and says, yeah, he's a rotational depth sort of move, good player but not great player, concerns me because right now he's one half of their safety room. Their safety room is him and Jaden Hicks.
It's also important to note, at least for Baltimore, one of their safeties was Malachi Starks, who played the most amount of snaps for the Ravens on their defense. They also have Kyle Hamilton, who I think you could argue is maybe the best safety in the National Football League. So, yeah, if you go from Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton and now Alohi Gilman is your third rotational option, I can see how you notice a drop-off in quality of play. I think you can notice it. Now, do I think that Brian Cook is noticeably better than Alohi Gilman? We'll see what that looks like. Is he an upgrade over Chamari Connor? Like, they had to do something in that room. Like, you only got so many draft picks, and I don't think it's realistic to think that you're hitting on all these 7th-round picks and all these kind of guys. So, like, you got to kind of assume a little bit that you're going to have some breakage, so to speak. Like, you're going to miss on some of these picks. But I'm looking at their safety room. I mean, you almost had to kind of go out and get this player. I mean, your safety room was Chamari Connor and Jaden Hicks. Like, that was your room before this. You needed to go spend a little bit of money to go get a veteran that you think can be on the field. And you got to develop and see what else you can potentially do. And also, there's a chance they could spend the 9th overall pick on a safety and maybe get one of the 10 best safeties in the league. Like, I think Caleb Downs will come into the league as one of the 10 best safeties in the National Football League. I got nothing but respect for his game.
I do think it's interesting to keep an eye on, though, because they were bigger names. I don't want to compare him to Justin Reed. But when Justin Reed got signed here, the thought was not, oh, they got a dog. Like, watch out, here comes Justin Reed. And that's no disrespect to Justin Reed. The thought was, oh, they got a good player. He played in, Houston. He was a good player. Let's see if he can develop. And under Steve Spagnuolo, he 100% developed. When Brian Cook was drafted in Kansas City, the thought was not, boy, they got a guy in Brian Cook. It was, they got a safety in the 3rd round. Let's see who he turns out to be. So, I'm going to trust Brett Veach and Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt in that secondary until I'm proven wrong. And if they believe Aloy Gilman or can take the step forward and be more than this rotational guy back there, I will believe them they can do it. I still do think, agree with you though, Downs is in play at 9 for the Chiefs. He's too good a player not to be in play at this point.
I have heard a lot of rumblings about the Chiefs and Trent Williams. I'm sure you've heard very similar rumblings, and it's not just hearing it from Nate. I think it is honestly one of the worst kept secrets around the National Football League is that the Chiefs have some measure of interest in Trent Williams. I mean, there only has to be 3 possibilities, right? Like, if we were talking this out. Now, I don't see any scenario in which the Chiefs would trade for Trent Williams. But if Trent Williams just got cut and was just available and on the open market, I do think the Chiefs would poke around. I do think they would inquire. I mean, they would have to say one of 3 things, right? They would have to say either, 1, they are open to moving Josh Simmons over to right tackle, right? Would have to assume that. If you get Trent Williams, you are not moving Trent Williams. You are moving the second-year guy, and now he is going to play right tackle, and they're just going to try to have 2 of the best tackles in the National Football League. So that's one possibility. I would also say another possibility is, are they open to drafting a tackle at 9? I think that is a part of the conversation about all of the possibilities. One that people maybe just don't want to acknowledge, because it's fun to talk about them getting a safety in Caleb Downs. It's fun to talk about them getting a guy that's going to have, 13 sacks, turn out to be one of those premier pass rushers like a Bain or a Bailey or a running back like Jeremiah Love. It ain't really fun to talk about them having the 9th overall pick and spinning it at tackle. But I think there is a chance that they end up spinning it at tackle. Or I think the other option is, and what probably is the most likely option of all of those is, do they really believe in Jalen Moore? Because last year, they went out day 1 free agency. That was their big signing. We got our answer at left tackle. Now things played out differently as the season progressed. He was their kind of number 3 break in case of emergency. Even when Jawan Taylor had the yips, they still wouldn't really fully commit to Jalen Moore. Are you putting anything into the rumors about the Chiefs and Trent Williams and that they're really interested in Trent Williams? Is this kind of their version of Patrick Peterson, where he just always seems to come up in Kansas City conversations? Or do you think there is something a little bit there? Could the Chiefs possibly be open to moving Josh Simmons over to right tackle? Is right tackle a possibility at the 9th overall pick? Or do they really believe in Jalen Moore, and are they potentially looking for an upgrade or someone they would see as an upgrade over Jalen Moore?
I would love to tell you this is just Patrick Peterson part. I guess the Patrick Peterson saga played out like 7 different years in a row. So this is Patrick Peterson reincarnate. But man, the Patrick Peterson thing always felt like fans. It felt like media type and fans were connecting dots. Carrington, we know the Chiefs have been interested in Trent Williams before. Remember, before he eventually re-signed with the Niners, the Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes call him, and they had the full court press on, and eventually Trent Williams decided to stay home, and the Chiefs went another direction at tackle, but they were actively interested in Trent Williams in the past. And you know how the Chiefs operate. Once they have your phone number, they are going to continue to try to go on a date with you, for a dating analogy. We know how they operate. So I'd love to tell you it's fan fodder, but I think there's probably something there if he gets cut, and I truly don't understand it. Not because Trent Williams isn't a great player. He might be a top 3 tackle of all time in the history of the NFL. Like, he's a great player. But I don't know. I want the Chiefs this offseason sniffing around a 35-year-old plus offensive tackle when you used a first-round pick on one last year, and you invested in Trent Williams' backup to be on your team last year as well. I think there might be fires that smoke, but I'm hoping the Niners get a deal done to squelch any fire.
I mean, right now, I would say it's nothing. Until he's actually available, it's nothing.
But I agree. But if he's available, which could happen sooner rather than later, the Chiefs are definitely someone that I think would be interested quickly.
It is interesting. It is interesting that his name continues to come up in NFL circles surrounding the Chiefs. Because you would think that left tackle is not a conversation that the Chiefs are really openly willing to have. That's just what you would assume when it comes to this. Someone just texted in, CDOT, if the Chiefs draft a tackle at 9, I would give Veach an F- for last offseason. I would probably give them that anyway. I think their offseason was terrible last year, which kind of put them in the situation. I'm not as anti-right tackle at 9 as everybody else is. That wouldn't be my favorite. That's not my ideal or what I would select. But I don't really have much of an issue if the Chiefs went out and drafted a right tackle at 9. If you were telling me, I'm going off what people tell me. We love Nate Taylor. Nate Taylor thinks they already have a top 10 left tackle already. If the Chiefs then got a pretty good right tackle, and you were telling me that their plan is kind of similar to what the Chargers have, where you have Rashawn Slater on one side and John Alt on the other side, and you just made a significant investment at running back, and you also have 29, where maybe you get a KC Concepcion, that tight end, or a wide receiver from Texas A&M. I actually think there's a chance that Kenyon Sadiq just falls in the draft. Like, I don't think he was a great college player. I just think he's a physical tool and a specimen that if put in the right situation, he could be good. But we know there's a lot of situations that could completely mess that up, and he just never, ever seems to figure it out. I wouldn't put tackle as my top 3. I don't even know if it would be in my top 5. But would I be stunned if the Chiefs drafted a right tackle at 9? I don't know how you can be stunned if that's what they do, given how they spend resources on the offensive line. They spent the first round pick at left tackle. They spent a lot of money at center. They spent a lot of money on right guard. Like, they don't view positional value, I think, the same way that everybody else does. So them taking who they think could maybe be the best offensive lineman in the draft, or taking the best secondary player or safety in the draft, I could very easily see them taking the right tackle over Caleb Downs.
If they take a right tackle at 9, it would not shock me, but I will be angry. And I will, maybe not Kenneth Walker signing angry, but I'll be in that same stratosphere. Because if their offseason plan was to get rid of all their corners, not address pass rush on day 1 of free agency, and use your most premium asset on right tackle, which you don't need, and your second and your big time swing at free agency was running back, which is not a big time swing position, I'm going to be angry, because 365 days ago, me and you were in lockstep screaming positional value has to matter. If he drafts right tackle at 9,
Rob,
that's a second offseason. He didn't care about positional value.
But I hear you. But you and I have this conversation all the time. We can argue about what we would do or what they are going to do. They don't see positional value the way you and I see it.
And
you wouldn't have paid Creed Humphrey. You wouldn't have paid Trey Smith. You wouldn't have paid Nick Bolton. They ran to do all of those things. They couldn't wait to do all the. And day 1 of free agency, they paid a running back. They don't see positional value the way that you see it.
And you know what they did? They were terrible last year. They were absolutely trash.
I mean, they were really good all the years before that.
They were dog water last year.
Okay, they were terrible
when they rushed out
year,
to sign Trey Smith and Nick Bolton. And they were tripping over themselves to celebrate
I'm
Hollywood
going to give them
Brown.
credit for the year before that, though.
No, it's a 1-year sample size. That's how it works.
Someone says unless they get a generational talent at tackle, picking one at 9 would be a waste. I don't see it that way. I really don't. Like, if you were telling me Tristan Wirfs, let's say that whoever they get at 9 at right tackle could be Tristan Wirfs, is that a bad selection?
It makes the Jalen Moore move horrendous.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
But that's part of the equation here. You have a guy who can play right tackle. You signed him to a big contract 365 days ago.
Yeah, but what if the plan is this is me having the conversation.
I know. I'm not saying you're saying this.
But like, what if the plan is Jalen Moore is our breaking case of emergency? If there is any team that knows how quickly your season can go left by 1 or 2 injuries on the offensive line, it is the Kansas City Chiefs. So what if their plan is we are fine buying the extended warranty. Maybe we don't end up using the extended warranty. Like, that's right. Like, maybe it's possible that they are fine with paying the extended warranty on it.
My question would be, and again, that's not to you, it's Brevich, if that happens, why have you never bought the extended warranty on pass rush? Why have you never bought the extended warranty on corner, which are just more premium position? Why have you never bought the extended warranty, for the analogy, on wide receiver?
I don't think they're drafting tackle. I just
don't even go down this scenario because it makes me angry.
All I'm saying is I don't know how anybody can be stunned about the team that the team that there might not be teams in the league that have invested more on their offensive line. You'd be stunned if they continue to invest in the offensive line to protect their quarterback. I remember that was the banner statement of Chiefs fans. God, do everything you can to protect 15. Now improving the offensive line's a waste. I'm telling you, it's hard to keep up with the differing opinions when it comes on these things. Remember when you and I were screaming, hey, maybe you shouldn't give a right guard all this money. No, you got to protect Pat no matter what. That was what everybody was screaming. You're like, no, it's not a good idea. We should spend this money elsewhere. Coming up on the other side, we'll give you a chance to continue to register for our Papa Shot tournament. We'll also talk about UMKC basketball. Kangaroos. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Send it in, Jerome!
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Taking a look at the pro football futures market following day 1 of the legal tampering period, and we have co-favorites to win next year's championship, LA of the NFC and Seattle, the 2 best teams last year, both sitting right now at plus 800. And I know Seattle just won the championship, but if I had to choose one of these 2 teams, I would absolutely choose LA. LA fixed its cornerback issue, trading for one from Kansas City, signing another one away from Kansas City, and LA has the better quarterback, so if I had to choose between one of these teams now, give me LA over Seattle, the team that just won. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great. Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Hypnosis, Wednesday, April 1st at the Wingate by Wyndham, Kansas City. Formerly Sure Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City. Lose weight hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of. Go to loveshriners.org.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything. Big moments are coming up. The Film Awards, March basketball, midterms, and now you can trade on what happens on Kalshi. Trade your opinion on a live market with real prices, real payouts, and no house. Download the Kalshi app. Use code FAN to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
New multi-car crash now just, we're going to call it south of Overland Park. 35 northbound it is, though, before 95th. Right lane is blocked. Shawnee, that crash still working, 35 northbound as well. Antioch is the location of the crash, right lane blocked. And crash cleanup continues. The biggie, 3 right lanes still blocked. 635 southbound, just past Metropolitan. Boy, just take your time. Practice patience today. Wrecks all over the place. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
Rob, I want you to give me a little bit of a pat on the back. Do you think I was a year early on a lot of these Chiefs conversations? Because now I feel like a lot of the takes that people have, these are the same things I was saying last year, and I was being told that I was wrong for feeling that way. Remember last year when I kept screaming how important running back was? And the overwhelming sentiment was, they won the Super Bowl with Damian Williams. That's enough. And I was like, I don't know. It seems like an issue. Seems like a problem to me. Has there been anybody in the city that's been bigger on they need to spend money at wide receiver than I've been? Give me somebody over the last couple of years that has been on hey, they don't have enough at wide receiver. They need more playmakers. They haven't given Mahomes enough. I am happy. Finally, everybody's on the same page as me. I'm happy. I was making the analogy. Remember when I was making the analogy with the Royals, that it felt like the Royals was like getting to the club at like 11. You're like waiting for the cool stuff to happen. I feel like I've been in this club with the Chiefs. I feel like I got here when it opened. Hey, running back's important. No, it's not. Okay, it feels like it's really important. Hey, maybe they need to get a little bit more explosive at wide receiver and invest in it. Now everybody's like, yeah, let's spend the 9th overall pick on receiver. Yes, this is what I like. Yes, these are the conversations. I want to be clear. I don't want them to draft right tackle at 9. I just don't know how you can follow the Chiefs and be stunned if that's what they did. I said it earlier. If you were asking me today, if you gave me a free bet and said, what position do you think the Chiefs will draft first? I think they're going to draft a wide receiver. I think it's Bain or a wide receiver. I guess they could draft Caleb Downs with the number 9 overall pick. But I guess my argument would be this. I mean, we haven't had this conversation. We can even forget the basketball conversation. We'll talk about this. If you're willing to spend the 9th overall pick on a secondary player, you then can't tell me that you're not open to paying him for the second contract. Like, that's a significant value added. It's one thing to let Jalen Watson go as a 7th round pick. It's one thing to let some of these guys go. Trent McDuffie's a little bit different, but you eventually traded Trent McDuffie and then got back everything that you possibly could for him. If you're willing to spend a top 10 pick on a secondary player, then Brett Veach then has to be willing to, if it works out the way that you are planning on it working out, if Caleb Downs then turns out to be the best safety in the league and turns out to be Kyle Hamilton, they then have to be prepared to pay him, and they've never really shown the ability to pay him. So this would be, I would say, the biggest investment they've ever made in a secondary player if they are willing to spend a top 10 pick, bigger than going to get Tyrann Mathieu, bigger than going to get Justin Reed, even from a contract perspective. If you're willing to spend the 9th overall pick, you have to be open to he is going to be exactly what we think Caleb Downs should be. He is the cornerstone of our defense, and he is the one guy that we think is worthy of that contract. And so far, in almost 10 years of being the general manager, they have not found that person they think is worthy of giving him money at that position.
You are correct, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But with Brett Veach, can you name the position that he's consistently always giving money to? Because I would tell you the only position's offensive line, right? Like, he's walked on some pass rushers, kept some. He's walked on some linebackers, kept some. Basically walks on entire secondary pieces. The only position that he consistently sees as a multi-contract guy is offensive line. So you're right.
Or D-line, yeah, for sure.
D-line's a little bit of hit or miss, though, because he's going to walk on Felix eventually.
Yeah.
Like he
well,
might.
I mean, that's Felix didn't do nothing to deserve contract 1. To hell with contract 2.
That's fair.
He done nothing to deserve the first one. He's stealing money right now. How much more money does he need to steal from Kansas City? Someone on the text line says if the 9th overall pick doesn't receive a second contract with the team, then it's a failure. No, I 100% agree with you. And that's why I'm making the argument of they clearly have a we don't pay guys in the secondary, which I would now use as an argument of why I don't think Caleb Downs is a fit for them, even though I think he's a very good player. I think they're just going to use it on an impact that I don't think they have a problem paying. I don't think they have a problem paying a wide receiver. They just haven't had many wide receivers that are worthy of paying. I don't think they're anti-paying wide receiver. I think they wanted to pay Tyreek Hill, and then the market changed from under him. They obviously don't have a problem paying on the offensive or defensive line. They got a problem paying a corner. So I'd be a little bit surprised if they're willing to spend the 9th overall pick and they're just willing to move on from it after 4 years. I'd be surprised if it was a secondary player. That's why I just think if you're looking at kind of what I think they're looking at and their view of we need to be more explosive, I don't know if you get much more explosive than getting a shiny new running back and also thinking 1 year ahead. I think it's also thinking 1 year ahead. So it's not just about the 2026 season. Who's their number 1 wide receiver in 2027? Is it Xavier Worthy? It's not Tyquan Thornton. Who do you think their number 1 wide receiver is in 2027? I am going to guess it is going to be somebody they draft in late April. That would be my guess.
It's definitely not someone on the roster right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's so now. Maybe the board shakes out and numbers drop and they sign someone or they trade for Brian Thomas. I know we'll have Ryan Green on, even though Adam Schefter is saying that they're not trading Brian. Maybe they add that player in some form or fashion. But as we sit right now, the wide receiver 1 for 2027 is 1,000% not on the roster.
Did you see this UMKC news? Now,
speaking of things people should listen to you about,
I know.
I'll give you your credit here. You've been screaming this one for a while.
This isn't, but I don't even want any credit for this because this is just so obvious. This is just so straightforward. I can't believe that it took until year 2026 of our Lord for them to do this. Did you guys know that UMKC signed 3 high school kids from Kansas City who all played AAU basketball together? I mean, what a mind-blowing concept. A place that has great high school basketball. Think about high school basketball in Kansas City. Like, we ain't got to go old school. We ain't got to go Anthony Peeler or Gerard Rush. Just in the last 10 years, Christian Brown went to a Kansas City high school. He's going to play, 10 years in the league. Keaton Wagler is going to be a lottery pick in this year's draft. Ethan Taylor will probably be a lottery pick. Like, there's a lot of really good high school basketball in Kansas City. Why UMKC rarely seems interested in has never made any sense to me. They signed 3 kids from Kansas City today. They signed a kid from Oak Park, who I've seen play, can jump out of the gym. They signed Cameron Love, who is probably one of the 5 best players in Kansas. And they signed DJ Jackson, who went to Piper. This is all we've been asking UMKC to do. Why was this so hard? Go to high school games. Sign the good kids, develop them. People will come out and watch them play. This was the most straightforward business plan for UMKC, and they didn't figure that out until now. This is the first time someone had this idea. So thank you. I'm happy that they had this idea. I don't even want to take credit for it. It just seems obvious to me.
Now it's time, if you're a Ruse fan, all dozen of you, attack the portal for the KC kids. The kid we had on the show last year,
Cameron Manyow that went to Staley. Yeah.
He can't play at Iowa. He's not good enough for Iowa. He will be portaling soon. Go get him.
Go get him at UMKC. Exactly.
The kid at KU right now, Corbin Allen. He went to Oak Park last year.
He did go to Oak Park.
I don't think KU has a future for that kid.
No, I don't think so either.
You know what you should do if you're UMKC?
Go get him.
Go get that kid. Like it extends beyond just high school, but it's so easy, and yet every coach in the history of the Roos just doesn't understand it.
It honestly was the most straightforward thing ever. I just have a presence in Kansas City high schools. And, I mean, we can talk about the higher level, lower. Bennett Sturts went to Liberty High School. He then dominated at Northwest Missouri State. He then went to Drake, and now he's at Iowa. He's a first-team all-Big Ten guard and is now going to the NBA. Like, there's way too much talent at Kansas City high school basketball for UMKC to be as bad for as long as they've been. Yes, you were never going to get Marcus Denman or Christian Brown. You very easily could have got Bennett Sturts to commit to UMKC, and you just showed very little interest in trying to get them. Coming up on the other side, we'll give you another chance to be registered for our Papa Shot tournament, and I've got some numbers to show Rob about running back. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
New multi-car crash now just, we're going to call it south of Overland Park. 35 northbound it is, though, before 95th. Right lane is blocked. Shawnee, that crash still working. 35 northbound as well. Antioch is the location of the crash. Right lane blocked. And crash cleanup continues. The biggie, 3 right lanes still blocked. 635 southbound just past Metropolitan. Boy, just take your time. Practice patience today. Wrecks all over the place. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Send it in, Jerome!
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. Spring getaway on the calendar? Start your trip stress-free with Park & Go, open 24/7 with all covered parking, so your car's protected from the elements. Quick shuttle service right to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn 1 share. Wager $1,000 to earn 2 shares. Wager $5,000 for a 3rd share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
It's almost tournament time, and this March, Fanatics Sportsbook has 10 times the rewards. Starting round 1, we're giving you 10 profit boosts every single tournament game day. That means first round, second round, round of 16, all the way to the last 4 and the national championship. 10 chances every game day to level up your winnings. But that's not all. Your bet earns you up to 10% fan cash back, which you can use on anything in the Fanatics universe. We're talking team gear, tickets, collectibles, and a whole lot more. Plus, if you're new to Fanatics Sportsbook, you can get up to $1,000 bet matched in fan cash for your first 10 days. It's time to shoot your shot. The tournament hits different with Fanatics Sportsbook.
Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
Today is Heartland Men's Health Day on 96.5 The Fan. 3 locations: Overland Park, North Kansas City, and Independence. For more information, go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Burns' season preview show is Thursday, March 12th, starting at 6 o'clock, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
A couple of things before we get back to Chiefs free agency. You have 1 hour left to register for our Drive Pop-A-Shot tournament. We are doing this Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade. It is in Zona Rosa. During the commercial break, we are playing a sounder. Now, don't call now. I'm just playing so you can hear the sounder so you know what to listen for.
Send it in, Jerome!
You'll be registered, come out, compete in the Pop-A-Shot tournament. If you win the Pop-A-Shot tournament, you'll get $200 to Draftcade and the Funny Bone. Take your girl, see a show, have a drink, have a great time, courtesy of our friends over at the Funny Bone and Draftcade. I also want to remind you guys that our friends over at Heartland Men's Health, for the month of March, they are doing a special offer for local first responders and military families. So if this is you, go to heartlandmenshealth.com for more information. You'll get more details at your consultation. This is available at all 3 of their locations, the OP, North Kansas City, and Independence. Heartland Men's Health is honored to serve those who serve all of us. So shout out to our friends over at Heartland Men's Health, looking out for the first responders and military families. All right, Rob, I want to give you 2 stats that may calm your fears and your nerves just a little bit when it comes to the Chiefs and paying Kenneth Walker. Now, I think you're going to disagree with this first point, but I still think that is relevant. So earlier today, I looked this up. I looked up every skill position contract in the National Football League. Every running back contract, every wide receiver contract, every tight end contract. And I was curious in terms of total value where Kenneth Walker would rank. Because I think one disagreement that you and I have is I am not just looking at this as RB1. I think they signed their best offensive skill position player yesterday. I think he is going to lead them in yards per scrimmage next year. I don't think it's going to be Travis Kelce, or maybe it's Rashee Rice. Let's see what happens off the field. But I think it is safe to assume that Kenneth Walker is going to have 1,100 yards from scrimmage if he is healthy next year. So I looked this up because I was interested. Now, after the Romeo Doubs signing, Kenneth Walker is the 41st highest paid skill position player in the National Football League. So all running back contracts, all wide receiver contracts, all tight end contracts, he now has the 41st largest contract of any of those. Now, another stat that you might find really interesting. So someone looked this up. Connor Christopherson, shout out to him. So he did a story yesterday that I read, and it was, even though Kenneth Walker has now the 8th highest paid running back contract in the history of the league, if you are going off percentage of the cap, it's really not that bad. From what we understand about the Kenneth Walker deal, it is going to count for about 4.8% of the salary cap. As a frame of reference, you remember when the Chiefs paid Jamal Charles, and Jamal Charles got a 4 for $28, that counted for 5.3% of the salary cap. Now, I don't think the argument back in 2014, maybe Rob was arguing this back in 2014, maybe he has a long-standing hatred when it comes to running backs. I don't think paying Jamal Charles 5% of your salary cap back in 2014 was the wrong thing for the Chiefs to do. Now, fast forward to 2026, I don't think paying Kenneth Walker 4.8% of their salary cap is the wrong thing to do for a guy who is going to touch the football the third highest amount of times on the team behind their center and their quarterback. So a guy that you think is going to get 240 touches next year, if you were counting carries and catches out of the backfield, I don't think giving that guy 4%, 5% of your salary cap, I just don't see that as a negative the way that you do.
We talked about this yesterday, and again, we don't have to, re-legislate, go through the whole thing, et cetera, et cetera. Me and you just view it differently because I'm viewing it like it is a running back where you're viewing it like it is a weapon. Because I would imagine the Chiefs, if we went through all 32 teams and we said, who was the player that led their team in yards from scrimmage? We can do this exercise tomorrow. Who was the player that led their team in yards from scrimmage? I would imagine the overwhelming majority of teams had their running back do it. It's because
I actually don't know if it's an overwhelming majority just because wide receiver has gotten so big.
I bet you it's
like
80%.
At this point, wide receiver has just gotten so that wasn't the case for the Chiefs this past year. I'm saying
I bet the Chiefs are a massive outlier is my point. I bet it's 80% of the league has the running back lead their team in yards from scrimmage.
I don't know if it was for Seattle. I'm saying
I bet you Kenneth Walker had more yards from scrimmage that last year than
JSN?
The JSN. I bet you because
you want to look it up?
I bet you because of how running back works, it is more often than not.
I don't know. No, there's no chance. Last year, Jackson Smith and Jibba had 1,793 yards receiving. Kenneth Walker didn't do that from scrimmage last year. All I'm saying is, I'm with you. We'd have to sit here and really do the math. That number is, maybe that was the case 15, 20 years ago, that it was 25, 27 teams that's the case. I don't know if that's the case now because of how good wide receiver has gotten, and there's so many good receivers in the league. I'm going to guess off the top of my head, the Rams probably don't fit that category. They've got good running backs, but I'm guessing that Puka Nacua led them from yards per scrimmage last year. Now, I don't think that's ideal for every team in the National Football League, and maybe, hopefully, either the Chiefs draft somebody at number 9 and he ends up leading them in yards per scrimmage, and if that's the case, then the Chiefs have potentially the Rookie of the Year on their team.
So I looked this up real quick while you were talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't do it team by team because that's just too much work.
Yeah. Well, but we can do this tomorrow.
Of the top, it was just an eyeball look. Of the top 30 yards from scrimmage people in the NFL in 2025, 20 were running backs. So I was wrong on the 80%. I'll own that.
It's 60%.
It's 60%. But it is also still the vast majority.
Sure.
Now, I didn't go team
just
by
touches wise. Your running back's going to get the ball 225 times. Your wide receiver is going to get it maybe 110 times at the absolute most.
I also tell you that some of the names that are here that aren't running backs are like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase. These are guys who were
legitimate dogs.
Trey McBride's also in this list, which is hilarious.
But to be fair, the Chiefs don't have one of those kind of wide receivers. I'm not saying that's your ideal. Unless you got Christian McCaffrey or one of those kind of players, it's not ideal that your running back is your best offensive player. You better have Saquon Barkley if that's the case, or McCaffrey or Derrick Henry or one of those kind of guys. It's not your ideal, but I made this point yesterday. I'll make it again. If I say right now, Tell me the Chiefs player that you know is going to have 1,000 yards from scrimmage. There's only one person you can answer for. You cannot tell me that you know you're going to get 1,000 yards from Rashee Rice. I don't know if he's going to be charged in the next 10 days. I can guarantee you what he's going to do from a numbers perspective. You can't tell me that you're certain you're going to get 1,000 yards from Xavier Worthy next season. You can't tell me you feel that way about Travis Kelce. It's been 3 years since he's got 1,000 yards in a season. I feel very, very confident that Kenneth Walker will have 1,000 yards next year. So I think that just comes at a cost. I think you paid for the certainty of what you have. You had an unreliable vehicle the last couple of years. You now splurged a little bit because you know what? Anybody that's had car trouble knows there is great peace in knowing every time that you put the key in the ignition, the car is going to start. There is great value in every time you press to start, you know that your car is going to start right up and you can get on your way. You don't got to pop the hood. And no, I don't got to do any of that anymore. So I do think that the Chiefs paid a little bit extra on top for just a measure of comfort and not having to worry about it anymore. That's why to go back to the conversation that we were having about right tackle, why I wouldn't be stunned if they ended up drafting a right tackle. I will say this, we should never have to talk about tackle again if they draft a right tackle in the first round. Never. Not a left tackle, not a right tackle. Not when you spent 2 first-round picks on tackles. That tackle conversation is over. We will keep talking about wide receiver, even if they draft one at 9. We'll keep talking about pass rush. That's just kind of how those position works. If they see the value of we don't feel like we have to worry about who our tackles are for the next 10 years, I could see them taking the chance of just drafting a right tackle with the 9th overall pick.
I will say this. Me and you actually agree on this. It's me a little semantics-y. I think the Chiefs, you said, paid for a premium because of the position. I think they paid a premium because of how bad they were last year.
I agree with that.
I think one of the reasons why, now me and you can just disagree, and that's fine. But one of the reasons why the Chiefs ended up having to pay the number they paid for Kenneth Walker is because there is no alternative. They were negotiating against nothing. Basically, all the leverage was on Kenneth Walker's side. You need me more than I need you. And that's not to say that Kenneth Walker was going to pick somewhere other than Kansas City. I think the scarcity of the availability last year drove the number up in Kansas City more than anything else.
I would say I disagree with this too. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, this is a pretty rough draft class for wide receiver. It might be smart to take one high next year and focus on the ground game. I don't know if it's possible to have a bad wide receiver class, not with the way that college football is right now. Like, if we had to, really go back, over the last 5 draft classes, since COVID, where I think you have seen also the shift, I would honestly say it probably happened around the time that Kansas City was arguing with Tyreek Hill, where the league's value of running back and the league's value of wide receiver really started to shift. And every single year in the draft, there is and even at the top, we're not even talking about diamonds in the rough. We're talking about, we can go through COVID. In 2020, you had CeeDee Lamb was the 17th overall pick. Justin Jefferson was the 22nd overall pick. Brandon Ayuk was the 25th overall pick. T. Higgins, 33. Michael Pittman, 34. That's in 2020. Go to 2021. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. I mean, the first 3 off the board are incredible. In 2022, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams. In 2023, we can keep playing this game or not. I'm not sitting here pretending like I'm Mel Kiper when it comes to the draft. But if they are telling me, all the draft people are telling me, they think there's 3 receivers that are going to go in the top 15, history tells me that those 3 receivers, one of them is going to be a potential all-pro. One of them is going to be amazing. The other 2 will likely be good. There aren't a whole lot of bust right now at the high end when it comes to wide receiver. Yeah, there are at the back end of the first round. I can find a Treylon Burks. We might end up having that conversation about Xavier Worthy. But I'm talking top 15 guys over the last 5-6 years. They normally aren't that far off when it comes to that kind of level. So that's why I'm big on at 9. If you think you got a chance to get a superstar receiver, I don't got no problem with them taking a superstar receiver.
I agree. Now, maybe I'm talking both in the mouth here. To the texter's point, we're not, maybe it's just too early in the process. We're not talking about this wide receiver class wow. You mentioned some of those classes. We were talking about Jamar Chase oh. We were talking
he was
about,
different, for sure.
We were talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, wow. Even last year, Tet McMillan had people talking oh, he can be really special. we haven't had that level of hype yet. Doesn't mean it won't happen. Doesn't mean those guys can't be that. But there is less, maybe there's less buzz is a better way to say it about this class than there has been in years past. There's probably a productive wide receiver in there, but it's not the same hype. Like maybe this class is more Brian Thomas Jr.-ish, who is a 800-yard receiver in the league than it is, JSN-ish.
No, for sure. And someone said, what about like going through some of the names? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's never have been busts in round one. There absolutely have been busts. I think what you are seeing now is, if you want to get like real philosophical, I think this is what happened. I think kids and parents are starting to get smart. Teams don't pay running backs. They pay wide receivers. So the really talented athletic kids aren't playing running back anymore. They just start playing wide receiver. Like, If you got a really talented kid, I don't know why you would push them to play running back. Yeah, it's great. Kenneth Walker, great contract, Super Bowl MVP. If you're if you're a decent wide receiver, you only got to be great at wide receiver. You can just be okay. You can be Romeo Dobbs at wide receiver. You'll make more money than Kenneth Walker will make. And think if you get even better than that, if you get to be Chris Godwin, you'll get $100 million to play wide receiver. So I think that's what happened is the kids, like, it used to be the most athletic kids will play running back. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they play wide receiver. So every year there's 5, 6, 7 of them that end up just being really good because that's where the value is. The 7-on-7, the money, how it flows in this direction. We have seen wide receiver now in a passing league just become so much more important, and I think you're starting to see that represent at the lower levels. We'll keep talking Chiefs free agency here. We'll also give you a chance to sign up for Papa Shot. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Send it in, Jerome!
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, March matchup fans, BetMGM is offering a legendary experience for you and 3 of your friends in Vegas. Climb the BetMGM Court of Legends leaderboard for a chance to win the trip of a lifetime to Las Vegas to see Haley and Hannah Cavender face off at the Bellagio. Just sign into your BetMGM account, opt into the promotion, then start placing sports bet of at least $10 to climb the leaderboard. 25 winners will take home the grand prize packages that include 4 tickets to the Court of Legends event featuring the Cavender twins, withdrawable funds for travel, a 3-night stay at the MGM Grand, and MGM Resorts credit. Make this March one to remember. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New and existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Withdrawable bonus dollars for flight money. Please gamble responsibly.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings, and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
If you're like me, you're feeling the pinch of high prices right now on just about everything. And that's where my friends at Hy-Vee come in to save the day. Because they're always finding ways at Hy-Vee to save me money, like amazing fuel saver deals. Shop Hy-Vee this Saturday and Sunday and get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend $60 on groceries. And you can stack up the savings on Hy-Vee fuel saver deals, and your next fill-up could even be free. There's nothing better than saving money, only at Hy-Vee.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-747-7676. 800-747-7676. Again, that's 800-747-7676.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Brought to you by Gravely Commercial Mowers. Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starts March 19th.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely Commercial Mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starting March 19th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
North KC new crash. Center lane is blocked. 35. It's northbound just before Parvin. 2-car crash again. Center lane blocked. Southbound, that's some onlooker delay. Continue down. That's a stall. 35 northbound at 18th. And then Shawnee, the crash working. 35 northbound, the on-ramp from Johnson. That'll slow you down until you continue down to 435 westbound at 35. That's a crash there in the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I do want to get back to free agency. We'll get back to free agency here coming up in a bit. I want to play this audio. I hadn't heard this. I hadn't seen this, Rob. You brought this to my attention. Is Flory going somewhere? Because remember last year, he hit the transfer portal. He then came back, and I think he made the right decision. He was about to go to Auburn. Like, that'd be a terrible decision now if you were Flory and you went to Auburn. Are there more conversations? Are there more rumors about this? This was Bill Self earlier today down at T-Mobile Center.
Yeah, I've given thoughts. There's things out there that I have heard based on some reports that this could be his last game here or whatever. Yeah, it could be. He could go pro. But I'm not concerned about anything else, if that's what you're asking. I also think this, folks, everybody has an agent. And everybody's agent is, if not shopping, is putting feelers out there about whatever. And that could be done by an agent just to try to get a better deal at the school that you're at. So there's way too much read into a lot of this stuff. Not saying it can't be true, but the reality of it is a lot of stuff takes place without players actually knowing about it.
We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this because this just seems very obvious to me. If I was advising Flory, I would just tell him, you are in a amazing situation. You're in an amazing situation. Where are you going? Flory's not ready to play in the NBA. And have you seen this year's draft class? Rob, what's the highest Flory gets picked this year?
28? Like that's like into first round. That would be a better way to say it.
Go back to school. Go back to school, Flory. You don't need to transfer anywhere. You get great minutes. I'm imagining you get paid well. What are we even talking about with Flory?
This all stems from some message board reporting that his agents want more money and that Duke could be the one supposedly interested in giving him that more money.
I don't know what Flory is getting. He certainly is in line for a raise. Yes.
He's going to get a raise.
100 from somebody. I don't know who it is, but from somebody.
I would bet Kansas is willing to give him a raise.
Of course. He is going to be one of the top bigs in college basketball next year. He's the best defensive big in college basketball. I mean, we're talking about a former McDonald's All-American, 6'10", 220. He averaged 13 and 9 this year. Go back to school and keep getting better. What's the floor you think Flory's making at KU? 800,000?
I would have said $1 million. After the fact that he flirted with Auburn and Indiana, $1 million.
So I'm saying is let's say he makes somewhere between 800,000 and 1.2 in Lawrence, Kansas to play basketball. You can do whatever you want. Cut to the front of the line at the Hawk, free pizza at the Wheel, 18,000 people at every game screaming for it. Where are you going? You're that excited to go sit on the bench for the Miami Heat next year and not play? Continue to make great money. Save your money. Put it aside. You certainly don't need all that in Lawrence, Kansas. Put it aside. Keep getting better. I'm not saying you got to stay all 4 years, but we used to not have these conversations about sophomores. Stay 3 years at Kansas. Next year, if his career continues to go how I think it's going to go, he ends up averaging 17 and 12 next year at Kansas. He's first team all Big 12, maybe arguably the Big 12 player of the year, then go declare for the NBA draft. But I don't know why there's a rush for Flory to go anywhere. You don't need to go to Duke. You don't need to go play for Golden State. Just stay where you're at.
I think, and this is me getting on my soapbox about college sports for 1 second, this is why the sport needs contracts. Because I think what is happening is that his agents, and Bill Silver
played him last year. I'm about to play him again.
They're gonna shop him to raise the offer from Kansas. But you know what Kansas was probably gonna do no matter what for the defensive.
Give him a little something.
He was always gonna get a raise, but you can't guarantee it until the free agency portion starts in the portal. So like, if he had a contract that said, "Hey, if you hit these incentives, you're getting a raise," we'd all be happier. But instead, we got to hear about how he might jump back in the portal, and then KU's got to rewrite the contract, get more money out of the portal. Let's just have him have a contract and have it built in. Hey, in year 3, you're going from 1.2 or 800,000 to 1.7 or something. But instead, we have to just portal and flirt with everyone. It's awful.
Hey, man. I'm not even trying to be funny. Flory, good luck to you. I'm not pushing you to go somewhere. I want you to stay at Kansas. I really do. I think that's where you should be. I think that's the best place for you. I don't know if there's too many better places to play college basketball at than the University of Kansas, especially if you're playing well, especially if they're paying. It seems like a great job that you currently have. I don't know why you would leave this job. I don't understand the purpose of you leaving this job. So coming up in just a bit, we are going to head to the phone lines, and there is a lot of smoke, a lot of rumor around the possibility of Brian Thomas Jr. being traded. Now, I wouldn't trade the 29th overall pick for him, but that 40th overall pick, yeah, I would trade that. I mean, instantly. The moment that I started the conversation with Jacksonville, and if they just said it's going to take a 2, I'd even give them a 2 and something else if possible. I'd give them a 2 and. But yeah, so we're going to head to Jacksonville. We're going to see if that really is a possibility. Is he really on the trading block? Is this just social media rumor and innuendo? Is this just smoke and fire around the free agency period? Or is there something real? Is there something tangible? Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Ryan Green with 1010XL in Jacksonville. We'll get his thoughts on this. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, my man?
Hey, Carrington, how are you, bud?
Doing great, man. We keep hearing different reports. Is Brian Thomas Jr. really available?
I don't believe he is. Now, it depends what your definition of conversation is. Do I think Jacksonville is calling teams shopping Brian Thomas Jr.? No, I don't. But do I believe teams are calling Jacksonville and Jacksonville's picking up the phone and listening? Yeah, I probably would think that's plausible. I think it would almost be malpractice to not pick up the phone and at least listen. But in no way, shape, or form do I think Jacksonville is actively trying to get rid of Brian Thomas Jr.
What went wrong this year in Jacksonville? Because he had a great rookie year, took a step back in year 2. What went wrong?
Yeah, it was weird. Even in training camp, it didn't start out well. There were some drops. I know it was a shoulder issue at a certain point in training camp, and then there was issues going across the middle. Obviously, the big game was the Cincinnati game in week 2, where he basically stopped on a route that resulted in an interception. And obviously, a big talking point here was what is going on mentally with Brian Thomas Jr. Now, to his credit, I think he did get better as the season went on. And then when Jacoby Myers arrived, Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't the go-across-the-middle guy anymore. Brian Thomas Jr. was once again the stretch-the-defense wide receiver, and the Jaguar offense started flourishing, which is why I don't think they have any desire to trade Brian Thomas Jr., because we haven't seen a full season of BTJ, Jacoby Myers, and Parker Washington. We only got a sample size. That sample size was pretty good towards the end of the year, and I think the Jaguars want to see what they have there with that trio moving forward.
So it sounds to me, and we don't got to spend a whole lot of time on this. You're telling me you don't think he's available. I believe you. You say the right offer. I imagine that's a first-round pick then. So I was just saying right before you popped on, if the conversation is Jacksonville would take Kansas City as 40th overall pick, I would have made that trade yesterday if it was possible. I have hesitation when it comes to the 29th overall pick. Are you saying it has to be one of those offers you can't refuse, knock you off your feet to get him off of Jacksonville?
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're at. I would be surprised if Brian Thomas Jr. was traded. Now, if somebody does come in with an offer that, like you said, blows Jacksonville's socks off, well, then, yeah, at that point, perhaps they would be listening to Brian Thomas Jr. offers. But it would take something like that. I in no way, shape, or form think they're actually trying to trade Brian Thomas Jr. And I'll tell you, Carrington, a lot what it is, and I've talked about it on my show. It's the fantasy football world for the most part. I think there's fantasy football people that have invaded social media that are throwing rumors out there for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I've seen a lot of them from thisfantasyfootballguy.com or thatfantasyfootballguy.com. And I'm sitting there scratching my head like, what are they talking about? Because I've talked to people with the Jaguars that laugh at some of those reports. The first report I didn't laugh at was last night with Connor Hughes in New York, who had something on it. And Connor's been doing it for a while. So that was the first time I actually thought, maybe there's something to this. The conversations I've had today, once again, lead me to believe there's not much to it. But again, I think they're listening to calls for Brian Thomas Jr. I do believe teams are calling. I just don't think Jacksonville is going to ultimately trade him.
Ryan, this might be the shortest interview you've ever done, man. Appreciate your time.
Hey, Carrington, anytime, buddy. Take care.
Absolutely, man. It's our guy Ryan Green joining us on the show today. I didn't want to speculate on Brian Thomas. I wanted to go straight to the source. I wanted to hear from somebody in Jacksonville. Rob, it sounds to me like we can put that conversation aside. It doesn't sound like Brian Thomas is actually available.
I mean, if you're willing to knock their socks off, he is, but I would really hope the Chiefs are not that team. Like, do not offer 9. If you offer 9, that would be malpractice in team building.
Yeah, and I mean, knocking your socks off, what would that even look like for Brian Thomas? Because it sounds to me, knocking their socks off sounds like all the compensation that you just got for Trent McDuffie, are you willing to turn that into Brian Thomas? And the answer is just no. Especially, again, when you have the 9th overall pick, just draft your own. It's allowed for you to draft your own star wide receiver, develop him, and he turns out to be that guy. You've got Andy Reid. People love the wide receiver coach with Chad O'Shea. You've got the best quarterback in the NFL. Just draft your own superstar wide receiver. Turn Mekhi Lemon into that player. Turn Carnell Tate into that kind of player. That's possible. So we can put this conversation aside. I wanted to know, it's been a lot of rumors, a lot of, hey, is Brian Thomas Jr. available? I wasn't sure if he really was available. So we wanted to go to Jacksonville to get that answer. I will say, now seeing what the plan was for them, Kansas City being them, seeing what the plan was with Tyquan Thornton, I do think it's starting to become more and more clear. I don't think the Chiefs are in that expensive veteran wide receiver market. Like, Juwan Jennings is still available. I don't think they're interested in Juwan Jennings. I don't think they're interested in Brandon Ayuk, who is still available. Maybe they'll end up getting Tyreek Hill, but I think that's an August conversation. We don't need to have that conversation 5 months before we need to have the conversation. I think Tyquan Thornton is their veteran move, and I would expect them to add a wide receiver in the draft. Maybe they don't do it at 9 and Bain's available and they take Bain, but I think it is a pretty safe bet. They are going to take a wide receiver at some point with their first 3 picks. The same way that I think you can also pencil in they're going to take a defensive lineman at somewhere in their first 3 picks. You just have too many premium assets to not take swings at those positions, just knowing the value of if it hits. If it hits at wide receiver, and let's say that 2 years from now, you feel like the Chiefs legitimately have a top 20 receiver, well, you're paying that guy $2 million when he should be getting like $31 million. That's a big difference. Or if you hit it pass rusher and he turns out to be a guy that can get you 8.5 sacks, well, that's a guy that makes $22 million a year that you have for next to nothing. So as you're seeing the board come together for them in free agency, I think we're starting to get an idea what they are likely going to target in the rest of free agency, the second half of free agency. Also, what I think they're going to target when it comes to the NFL draft. Maybe they get another 1 year or cheap veteran move at wide receiver, but I do think they're going to take another big swing at wide receiver once we get to the end of April.
I know it's only day 2 of day 2 of free agency. Are you surprised they haven't made like a veteran move at either edge, I guess, or something more at wide receiver? Because if there's one thing I know about Brett Veach, he does like to go into the draft relatively settled at most positions. For example, last year, everyone was clamoring, got to get a tackle, left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. Everyone was saying left tackle. Now, he ended up playing, but on the first day of free agency, they got Jalen Moore. So they didn't feel like they needed a tackle in the draft. They got one. It became like the board shook out perfectly, but they had one if they didn't get Josh Simmons. Again, didn't work out, but they signed Elijah Mitchell. They brought back Kareem Hunt. They brought back Isaiah Pacheco. So they went into the draft not needing running back. Like, that's kind of how Brett Veach operates. It's, hey, we can upgrade at this position, but if needed, the board shakes out well, we are situated. There's still a lot of time between now and the draft, and we're 2.5 days into free agency. But are you surprised they're not linked to an edge rusher? Are you surprised they're not linked to a wide receiver yet? Because usually they go in with, hey, we have a little bit of a known commodity, and then we can upgrade in the draft. There are not really many known commodities in those position groups right now, and those are 2 position groups you would consider at number 9 overall.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mean, I'm not going to make it seem like it's like, I'm not painting this like I think they did something wrong. They have not done something yet this offseason that is super surprising to me. Now, that's not bad. We have been talking about the possibility of them trading Trent McDuffie for basically a year now. When they made the decision last year to not re-sign him and they gave that money elsewhere, and then we saw how the rest of the market came together, and it basically was, are you willing to make Trent McDuffie one of the 3 highest paid corners in the league? The Chiefs gave us their answer pretty quickly. No. We knew they were going to go get a running back. Now, maybe you thought, like they were going to get Kenneth Gainwell or they were going to take that, but you knew they were going to get a running back, and that was very, very high on their list. I think they were interested last year at the deadline. It ended up falling through with Breece Hall. Now, year later, you end up getting Kenneth Walker. Everybody is happy. So far, I would say they've been kind of predictable when it comes to free agency, which is good. They've never really been the team, I guess maybe outside of Sammy Watkins, which was just different. You had your quarterback on a rookie contract. They've never really been the team to go get that kind of tier 2 wide receiver. Like Sammy Watkins now, I know it doesn't seem like that was like signing Romeo Doubs back in 2018. They haven't signed a player like that since then. So I'm not really surprised that the Chiefs haven't really been linked to a kind of player that, at least in free agency, they haven't signed. They haven't, outside of the Frank Clark, which was different, it was a trade. They haven't, day one of free agency, went out and got that just elite pass rush type. They haven't in free agency in the last 6-7 years went out really spent money like that at wide receiver. So I'm not surprised at kind of how they've maneuvered so far through the board. I like what they've done. I don't want anyone to take that I don't like what they've done. So far, they have addressed, I would say, 2 very important things. They needed starters. You got a starter on your defensive line. You have a starter right now with safety that you picked up in free agency. You brought back your best deep ball option and deep ball threat last year in Tyquan Thornton. And you signed who I think is going to lead the offense in yards from scrimmage this year in Kenneth Walker. I would give them an A so far at what they've done in free agency. Now, let's see what the rest of the plan looks like. They don't have enough at corner. I think that goes without saying. They have to address corner. They don't have enough right now on their defensive line and pass rush. That is also something that they need to address. But free agency is not over, and they also have the 4th most picks available. So I expect these moves to start to happen for the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, it is your last chance to register for the Pop-A-Shot tournament. We'll do that. We'll also recap things and get you ready for K-State's first game of the Big 12 tournament against BYU. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything. Big moments are coming up. The Film Awards, March basketball, midterms, and now you can trade on what happens on Kalshi. Trade your opinion on a live market with real prices, real payouts, and no house. Download the Kalshi app. Use code FAN to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Send it in, Jerome!
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Tonight, thunderstorms are likely with a low of 46.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood prediction markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood prediction markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. Spring getaway on the calendar? Start your trip stress-free with Park and Go, open 24/7 with all covered parking, so your car's protected from the elements. Quick shuttle service right to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
Today is Heartland Men's Health Day on 96.5 The Fan. 3 locations: Overland Park, North Kansas City, and Independence. For more information, go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
It is a beautiful day. Can't explain all the wrecks, but boy, are they there. We do have an exit closed down near Lee Summit. Let me get to that. 470 eastbound. It is the exit to 50 eastbound that is closed. Looks like for crash cleanup. Okay, downtown, that's a crash. 70 eastbound at Broadway. Right lane is blocked. Very heavy all through there. Up to North KC, the crash at 35 northbound before Parvin. 2 right lanes are blocked. Time Valley traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to play a couple of pieces of audio before we sign off. Here is Albert Breer talking about the Chiefs' goal in free agency.
They had 2 things that they really wanted to shore up in free agency because they felt like the help might not be there in the draft, just based on the makeup of the draft class. And one was running back and the other was nose tackle. So they get both those taken care of yesterday with Kenneth Walker and Kairos Tonga. On Walker specifically, and I think this part is really interesting because it does play into what's going to happen in 6 or 7 weeks in Pittsburgh, right, when everybody's there for the draft. I don't think that they felt like they could count on Jeremiah Love being there when they get to 9.
The Saints appear to feel the same way too, Albert. You know what I mean?
That's fair. You can't really count on Jeremiah Love being there at 9. And so the makeup of the draft class, and I'm sure you've talked with DJ about this, like over the course of that weekend in Indy, right? Is like the running back spot is very top heavy. It's the 2 Notre Dame guys, and then there might not be another one to go on until the 4th round. So if you can't get Love, and then the one guy left is Jadarian Price, that's not a very good position to be in. You know what I mean? And so instead of going through all of that, they signed Kenneth Walker. He's a 3-down back, had 133 catches over 4 years in Seattle. He's the sort of back they haven't had in a long time in Kansas City. So that's now taken care of.
Rob, I think possibly the biggest, disagreement that you have with the organization, and it is weird that me and the Chiefs are on the same page this year. I like this. I could get used to this every offseason that we think the same thing. I think you see rush end as their biggest need, and they saw running back as their biggest need. Now, we obviously don't know, but it sounds to me based on what Albert Breer said. And Albert Breer has been very consistent in the link between Kenneth Walker and Kansas City. He knows something. Like somebody high up in the Chiefs, probably Brett Veach, is giving you this information. I think they were prepared to draft Jeremiah Love with the 9th overall pick. And I believe that they left the combine not feeling like he was going to be there. We've always talked about Love like he is going to be available at 9. I think the Chiefs and the Saints both came to the same conclusion. We both like Jeremiah Love. We would take him in the top 10. We feel comfortable enough to take him in the top 10, but we think that Tennessee is going to draft him. We think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to draft him, so we need to make our business elsewhere. Chiefs go get Kenneth Walker. The Saints go get Travis Etienne, and then they go on from there. Because just from a money perspective, the Chiefs could have answered rush in yesterday. They very easily could have answered rush in. You could have got a Kwity Paye. You could have very easily went out there and just for a little bit more, not a lot more. Now, you wouldn't have got one of the high-end guys, but you could have got a pass rusher yesterday at this price. They saw running back as their number one need and something they had to go get day one of free agency. They went out and got him. He mentioned nose tackle. There wasn't a nose tackle that you could possibly take with the 9th overall pick, too. They addressed it, I would say, in a very cost-effective kind of way. That's the difference is you think that defensive line is their biggest need, and it's not close, and I think they just see it the opposite. I think they see running back as their big need.
To that point, that is kind of what Albert Breer is saying, is they left Indianapolis, and the word on the street was, you're not getting Jeremiah Love, which actually is funny now, because I feel like every team ahead of the Chiefs kind of addressed running back or has a running back, but that's neither here nor there. I wonder if they left Indianapolis belly full of St. Elmo's and also heard word on the street is one of the pass rushers will be falling. Because that if they went out and addressed running back because the thought was Love's not going to be there, the fact they have done nothing, not a thing, not a overpay for a Kwity Paye, not connected to Boye Mafe, who they were connected to in trade last year, not sniffing around Joey Bosa. They've done nothing at edge rusher. Makes me think to that same point, they walked out of Indianapolis hearing one of the three will be there. Maybe not the one, maybe not Bailey, maybe not Reese, maybe it's I don't know. But I think they walked out of Indianapolis knowing that one of them is available, so now we have to prioritize the other thing. Because there's no way they didn't see edge as a need.
What's their plan if Bain's not there?
I think then they run into trouble.
So I guess I'm asking the question in the same vein of what we just heard about Jeremiah Love. Maybe Jeremiah Love was number one on the Chiefs' wish list. Like, if you went and you were having a private conversation, if you could add any player to your team this offseason, who would you pick? And their answer would have been Jeremiah Love. And they got the information that he wasn't going to be available, so they had to go to plan B. Let's say that they feel the same way about Bain. We love Bain. If Bain's not there at 9, what's their plan at pass rush? Are they waiting to the second round to maybe address it? Is there somebody on the back half? Because I'm looking at who people are projecting when it comes to the mock draft. Arvo Reese not going to be on the board. David Bailey in this not going to be on the board. There is a chance that Bain is not on the board. There's a pretty big gap once you get from those three guys on the D-line to probably the kid from Auburn, the Falk kid. But I don't think people see him as a top 10 selection. They kind of see him more maybe in that like 17 to 22 range.
Is the answer trade back? I mean, that's got to be the answer, right?
Maybe.
Unless they have something in the hopper free agency-wise we just don't know about.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say at this point in terms of pass rushers, if you're not getting Trey Hendrickson, who else do you think it could possibly be? I mean, that's the last name available at pass rush.
Unless like a veteran Bosa
taking a 1 year deal on somebody old. Which I'm not against getting an old guy. You don't want an old guy.
It's not. They have no long-term solution if that plays out.
I want a seasoned guy. I'm starting to kind of sell myself on this wide receiver from Arizona State. I'm kind of selling myself on Jordan Tyson. 6'2", 210, great red zone, 50-50 guy. They don't have that guy on their team at all. I'd love for them to have that kind of player. We're off early today because of K-State. If K-State loses, we have a normal show tomorrow. If K-State wins, then we'll get off at 5. So I'll expect to see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. It's the